غزہ سے پہلی دفعہ آپ کو پی این این کی اسکرین پر پروگرام سوال تو ہوگا کہ اس پلیٹ فارم پر غزہ سے ہم نے ایک صحافی کے ساتھ رابطہ کیا، وہ ہمارے ساتھ موجود تھے، ہمیں جوائن کیا ہے مطیع عبد المصبح نے. بہت شکریہ مطیع، آپ نے وقت دیا. میں ان سے سوالات انگلش میں کروں گا اور آپ سے میں اس کو ٹرانسلیٹ بھی کر دوں گا. سب سے پہلا سوال میرا ان سے یہ ہوگا کہ اس وقت غزہ کی صورتحال ہے کیا. مطیع، پلیز الیبوریٹ ٹو آور ویورز what is the current situation of Gaza right now?
You know, the situation is still awful for the Palestinian people here in Gaza Strip. Now I'm standing in the vicinity of the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital. As you can see in the background, we have multiple ambulances bringing civilians who were targeted by the Israeli occupation airstrikes and the Al-Nusayrat refugee camp. And there are many civilians were reported injured, and apparently there are many martyrs as well. So this is the situation. The Israeli airstrikes are still continued, targeting several areas against the Palestinian in the Gaza Strip, and the vast majority of the casualties is from the Palestinian children, elderly, and women. So far, we are talking about the latest incursion, the latest airstrike targeted Al-Nusayrat refugee camp. Actually left more than 8 Palestinian martyrs, in addition to dozens of Palestinian civilians injured. And this apparently this is not the last Israeli airstrikes. We are being reported that there are recently many airstrikes as well targeting the same area in the Al-Nusayrat refugee camp. So we are talking about continuous, relentless airstrikes, Israeli airstrikes targeting the Palestinian residential areas across all areas of Gaza Strip. And till this moment, this actually goes in line with the exacerbating situation regarding the humanitarian conditions of the people taking the hospitals refuge as shelters and as refuge. So this is the situation. The people here are still suffering as they have no access to the basic humanitarian needs and necessities, as Rafah crossing is still shut down by the Egyptian part and the Israeli part as well. So this is the situation so far. It's worth mentioning that the number and the death toll of Palestinians actually has risen to more than 11,150 Palestinians so far, in addition to more than 27,000 of the Palestinian civilians were reported injured. These numbers actually are incrementally increasing with the ongoing Israeli airstrikes and incursions against different areas in Gaza Strip.
Right. Let me just translate it to our audience. کہ غزہ کے اسپتالوں پہ ابھی بھی بمباری جاری ہے. الاقصی شہید ہسپتال کے باہر اس وقت وہ کھڑے تو میں بتا دوں آپ کو پہلی دفعہ آپ پی این این کی اسکرین پہ دیکھیں گے کہ ہمارے ساتھ جو صحافی موجود ہیں وہ غزہ سے ہمیں لائیو رپورٹ کر رہے تھے. دن کی روشنی میں ہم نے ان کے ساتھ یہ گفتگو کی تھی. So the next question is that it is very evident and quite clear that the target of Israeli forces is not just Hamas, not just to neutralize the threat of Hamas, but to capture the strip of Gaza in general, which they have mentioned in several statements. The Prime Minister Netanyahu has mentioned it in several statements. It's very clear now. So are they facing any resistance from the resistance forces? Are they advancing towards the Gaza Strip? Are they advancing to capture the Gaza in general, and are they facing any resistance in response to it?
General, as you know, when it comes to the confrontations between the Palestinian resistance members and the Israeli occupation forces invading inside Gaza Strip, there is a relentless Palestinian resistance that prevents the Israeli occupation from going deep and deep inside Gaza Strip. The Israeli, there are many heavy losses for the Israeli occupation forces as the Palestinian resistance defiantly facing the Israeli occupation forces, and these confrontations are still continued so far, and it's highly expected to have more and more time. And until this moment, we can say that the Palestinian resistance is still facing relentlessly the Israeli occupation forces inside Gaza. I mean that every moment the Israeli occupation forces announce killing more Israeli soldiers and the battles taking the place inside
right.
Gaza.
وہ یہ کہہ رہے ہیں ناظرین کہ اصل میں سویلینز کو یعنی عام شہریوں کو مارا ہی اسی وجہ سے جا رہا ہے کہ اب تک جو ریزسٹنس فورسز ہیں یعنی حماس کی جو مجاہدین ہیں وہ اب تک ان کے قابو میں نہیں آ رہے ہیں، اس لیے وہ سویلینز کو نشانہ بنا رہے ہیں۔ ابو مصبح، the Arab League, they could not reach an agreement, a consensus in order to curtail Israel, in order to mount pressure on Israel to stop this genocide, to stop this ethnic cleansing that it has perpetrated over the several weeks. How do people of Gaza, the people of Palestine, see this betrayal by the Muslim leaders, by the countries whom they were looking forward to? How do they perceive that?
The Palestinian people here are literally let down by the international community generally and by the Arab world and Arab regimes as well. It should never be acceptable for anyone to let the Palestinian people face all this lethal force and this kind of unabated airstrikes that kill everything moving here in Gaza. Except the Palestinian civilians actually are paying the price of the international silence and the weakness of the Arab regimes and Arab countries. I don't know what to prevent them, and this is actually the general mood and the spontaneous question of the Palestinian people: what to prevent the Arab regimes from taking serious steps in order to prevent this kind of bloodshed and the mass killing of the Palestinian civilians. No one knows what is going on. No one believes how the Arab countries are still standing in silence towards these crimes. As you know, that the Palestinian people have nothing to do with the repetitive scene in the hospitals here in the Gaza Strip. Is that we have multiple civilians targeted by the Israeli airstrikes who were brought to the hospital, and their beloved ones came after in order to bid a farewell and in order to mourn them to their last destination amid a wide outcry and wide sadness here. And I don't know, actually, I don't know what to say. I don't have words to describe how horrific the situation here in the Gaza Strip. The people here are actually lost any hope of national community, but generally there is an immediate need to have a ceasefire here because the people here are at all levels. They are devastated. It's not only about the airstrike, it's as well about the collapse and the deterioration of the health sector and the lack of the medical needs and the medical equipment for the health sector in Gaza, which actually has been under the pressure for more than 16 years in a row, as the Israeli siege has been imposed on Gaza for more than 17 years in a row. So the situation is already devastated and collapsed, and this who take the hospital and overwhelming the situation, overwhelming the hospital. If I want to talk about the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital, this hospital is not a big hospital. It has never, it wasn't designed in order to incubate and in order to contain and to sustain this kind of overwhelming number, even when it comes to the number of the wanted people, or when it comes to the civilians who are taking the hospital as a shelter. Needless to mention how the people here and the civilians are struggling in order to have their daily meal, or in order to have their water, to drink water, or to have an access to the sanitation. The situation at all levels is so horrific, and hopefully we would have a ceasefire, an immediate ceasefire, to stop this kind of ongoing mass killing and this kind of genocide committed left, right, and center.
I understand the situation is over there, and I hope the international community will realize that they have to play their part, they have to play their role in order to bring Israel to a ceasefire. Thank you so much, Mr. Abu Sabah, for your time.